Human repeat tasks, computers automate them. Let Python work. By the end of this video, you will be able to combine functions and loops to automate tasks, write cleaner, reusable Python code, process multiple values with one function call, understand real automation logic used in tools, avoid common beginner mistakes in automation. This is where Python stops being manual and starts being powerful. Loops repeat logic and functions organize logic. Together, automation. This is where beginners separate from builders. Okay, so now we will write a basic function with loops in it. So it will be just normal function, but we'll use just loops in it. It's very simple. For example, we just created a function here, and now we are using a for loop here, and then we say hello user. So now you might think that how we will give input in this function. That's very simple. First we'll use brackets, then your square brackets. Now we'll give our input. How many, like whatever input you want to give, how, like whatever times. Now if you run it, it will print it like this. One function, many users. Now let's try write a function with loops inside it. Okay, so now let's call a function using for loop. So for that, first we'll make a function obviously, and let's say print checking IP, and IPs, some IPs like this, and 2.2.2, and now for IP in IPs check IP. So what this function for loop will do with this function, it will call it multiple times and it will loop through it, and it's calling it 2 times in this case. So now if you run it, okay, so we got some error. Okay, I am in the Python terminal somehow. Let's use exit and brackets, and now I am out of it. Yeah. Now if you run it, okay, it's not printing anything for some reason. Okay, yeah, my bad. I forgot the indentation, that I wasn't supposed to use indentation here. Now if you run it, it will say checking 1.1.1 and checking 2.2.2. Clean separation, clean logic. Now let's write a function with return plus loop. So let's say define, and this function will check if the number is even or no, or you can say even or odd. So for that we'll use the modulo, and we'll say to check like if the input gets divided by 2 and its remainder is 0, then return true, and otherwise return false. So now we'll take a list here called numbers with numbers in it, and for n in numbers, and then print n is underscore even n. So now if you run it, so for 1 you will get false because it's not a even number, and for 2 this returns true, so it's saying 2 true, and for 3 false, 4 true. Functions answers questions, loops ask them repeatedly. So now let's like a real world like program, and that will be fade login scan. Okay, so we'll call our function detect failed, and the argument will be logs. For user count in logs dot items colon if count greater than 3, print alert user login underscore attempts and admin Alice Bob 4. And let's just write them like this for neater code. And now let's just call our function. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out a bit. Yeah, so you can read the code. So first we defined our function here, then we used a for loop with multiple values here, and then we count. If the count is greater than 3, then print alert with the username. And here are the login attempts, and here we just calling the function. So what we got here is now alert admin and alert Bob. Okay, so let's look at the code now. Admin got 5, so the condition got true here. And Bob got 4, so the condition got true here as well. But Alice only had 1, so her name didn't showed up in the alert list. This is how automation actually looks. So now let's talk about some common beginner mistakes. The first one is hard coding values. Sometimes, like in the last programs too, we used something like we use passwords like this, password and admin at the rate 123. So it's not a very good practice to use like hard code your password. It means just write them in plain text in your program. And writing huge functions, I have already discussed about it in the last video. And ignoring input validation. If you ignore your input validation, it means if you don't check your user's input, your program might break very often. Automation needs clarity. If you can combine functions and loops, you can automate almost anything. This is Python doing real work. Subscribe if you want Python explained clearly, practically, and with real logic related to cybersecurity. And comment automate below. Thank you guys for watching.